Hi guys, I'm here to talk to you about a 2016 Chevy Malibu 2LT, or what some would call the Cadillac Edition Malibu. Now, my experience with this car, I'm going to be very honest with you. I'm not going to lie about anything. I love the car. I love the little power it's got for, a little four-cylinder engine, 255, 260 horse. It's a nice little car. The problem is these manufacturers are mass producing these cars so fast now, the quality control has just gone out the window. The issues that I've had with this car so far are as follows. I'm a journeyman diesel mechanic, but I've been working on cars. I've got over 400 certifications. I've been to Ford Fact School. I've been to Chevy. I've been round and round with Chevy on this car already. Luckily, all the problems are worked out of it. The first problem I had was I was driving down the road and I caught this gray spot in the ceiling behind me. I already have a gray headliner, but I look back and it's a gray spot. I pull the car over and it's really dark, so I open the back door and I put my hand in it. It's sopping wet. That LED light that's outside the back window is a factory defect. There's a lot of those cars. I work for Hertz. We have over 3,500 cars on our lot almost all the time if they're not rented out. I get to see all these brand new Nissans, Toyotas, Fords, Hyundais, all this stuff, Mercedes, and I get to see the problems that happen before the dealers actually see what happens. Brand new vehicles, because we have so many of them, I get to see it first. Before they even figure out a fix, we're already trying to tear it apart and fix it, because we can't wait for the cars to come back sometimes because we need them to rent. The issue that I find is that LED light on the back, it's not put together right from the factory. So once water gets behind that light, they got to replace the headliner most of the time. The LED light and the wiring and stuff going to it. My car was in the shop for almost 2 weeks because it was so new, they didn't have a replacement for it yet. Now, the second problem, the headliner thing happened at about 5,000 miles. The second problem happened at about 12,000 miles. The trans service light came on and it went away and it didn't come back. I said, well, maybe it's a fluke. Maybe I need to take it into the dealer. About 1,000 miles later, it came back and it stayed on. That shifter assembly that has the plus minus shifter on it, the trans control module gets some kind of faulty reading, or that shifter, the wiring for it somehow is making the trans control module read something faulty, and it's saying that you need to have the trans serviced when the trans doesn't even need to be serviced. So I took it into the dealer and they said, oh man, here we go. The whole shift mechanism's got to be replaced. They put a whole new shifter mechanism and stuff in it, and it hasn't come back since then. Mind you, this is a brand new car with 12,000 miles on it. I'm already having the second time I took it in. Well, the third time I took it in is I tried doing Uber on the side, which is probably a little ridiculous of me, but it's an alright gig, I guess. Just to each their own. I would plug my phone in to charge it when I would leave the house. Sometimes it would charge right away and sometimes it wouldn't charge right away. I could never figure out what was going on with it. So I went back to work. I pulled up the wiring schematic for a 2016 Chevy Malibu, and I followed the power diagram going from the sockets where you plug your lighter in that charges the phone back to the relays and stuff. There was nothing that would stop that from charging right away, because I could leave the house and the phone would not be charging right away, and that's hooked up off ignition power. That should be charging immediately. As soon as you turn the car on, it should be charging. But it wouldn't happen until I get 6 or 7 miles down the road, and then it would start to come back, and then all of a sudden I would feel like, oh, there's my, yeah, now it's charging. Completely abnormal. No car does that. Even with an auxiliary power unit I have in the car, that's not part of the same circuit. So I took it to the dealer and they said, oh, take it, nothing's wrong with it. So I'm going to leave and I go to plug my phone in outside after the guy puts a new socket, a receptacle in, and I had to go back in and I said, get the mechanic. I said, look guys, I didn't tell you this about me, but I'm a journeyman mechanic. This is not right. You need to get here, or you need to get out here, you need to fix this car. It's not correct. Well, they give me a loaner car and they kept the car. Lo and behold, corporate actually has a recall for one of the main power relays inside the box that causes that intermittent charging issue that the dealer didn't know about. Okay, so that's all fine and well. So now what do we got so far? We got the headliner leaking because the brake light assembly outside is notorious for leaking on a brand new car right off the assembly line. The headliner had to be replaced. The LED light had to be replaced. Okay, so that was taken care of. The shifter assembly malfunctioned, so that was taken care of. The engine power relay had to be replaced. That was taken care of. Now I'm back in the dealer again, getting a service done because I get the free oil changes and stuff. I never used them, and I'm having them service the car. And I said, man, what is going on with you guys and the way you do things? Every time I open the trunk, I see that wire loom that's running around the bracket that hinges the trunk. It's rubbing the weather strip around it, and I'm starting to see a little gray spot forming where it keeps hitting it over and over and over again. I said, you guys just don't build stuff the same anymore. This is a brand new car, and I'm already rubbing spots in the weather strip in the back, so water is going to get in my trunk. You need to relocate that. That's not normal. Every time I open that trunk, it's going to hit that weather strip. 60, 70,000 miles down the road, I'm going to have a hole in it. So I don't care what you do, you got to fix it. That's not normal. It shouldn't be routed that way from the factory. And I noticed that all these Malibus, even while I'm at Walmart and I'm leaving, people are putting groceries in their trunk. It's that same wire that's routed right on the outside of that molding that rubs, or the outside of the bracket that rubs that molding. Be careful, guys. Be careful what you do with these new cars, because the quality control is just not there. And pay attention to everything, because what is going to end up happening is going to get you down the road. Another thing that it happens when it's extremely hot, and I put the AC on, and then I turn the AC off, is the radio malfunctions. That number 10 button that's on the screen, I got the big style screen that the Premier Edition has. It'll bing, 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 bing. It'll flash like crazy. It'll just keep flashing and flashing and flashing, and the radio freezes up. I can't change the stations or anything, but I can't duplicate the problem, so there's nothing I can do about it. I can't get it to act up fast enough, because after you let it sit for a while and then turn it back on, now it starts working fine again until you get down the road, and all of a sudden it's doing it again. It's really random. That's my experience with the 2016-2017 Chevy Malibu. I got the 2LT edition with the bigger screen, the auto drive, the auto braking, the lane departure warning stuff. It's a really, really nice car. It's got the sensors front and back. It's basically the Premier package, but with a different style of rim to it. Instead of 19s, they're 18s. And they're actually more expensive because it's a more rare tire. It's like a 245 45 18, and the Nissan Platinum Maxima also runs a 245 45 18. When you buy that car from the dealer, it has like a Pro Contact tire from Continental, and when you price it out, you can find some of them as low as 175 bucks, but most of them are up over 220 $240. Even through Hertz, me being a mechanic, it still was going to cost me $195 a tire. So it would be nice if they really got the price of that kind of stuff down and made it more affordable for the person, because even as a mechanic, I forgot to look at that when I bought the car. I should have been paying attention to that. And most of the time, what people don't realize is you don't get a spare with a car. You got to pay like an additional $600 or $700 for the spare kit. It doesn't come with the car. They give you a cheap air compressor and some slime and stuff like that, and they say have a nice day. So make sure you know what you're getting yourself into with these new cars. And if you're going to go test drive a 2016 Malibu or 17 Malibu, make sure you go out there and you actually test drive it. You look it over, you make sure you know what you're getting yourself into, because most places when you take it to get an oil change, you're not paying $30 for an oil change if you're not doing it yourself. You're going to pay $70 to $100 for an oil change, because it runs a full synthetic oil in there. I think it's like a 5W30 or 5W20, something like that. It's a Dexos full synthetic oil, and now GM is having pinging problems with the engines. They're trying to squeeze so much power out of them little engines that the 1.5 liters were actually pre-detonating and blowing the engines up. And when they come back into Hertz, we got to reflash the computers to back some of the timing out of them so they have less power, and then put a better oil and filter on it. That's supposed to fix the problem. But even my 2-liter turbo, if I'm in between two walls, I can hear that sucker pinging like crazy. You know, they say you can run regular fuel in them, but if you open the gas cap up, it says they want you, the manufacturer wants you putting premium in it, but if you get it from the dealer, they're going to tell you can run 87. Well, 87, it pings, it pre-detonates, and if you run premium in it, it does run a little bit better, but it's still not right. The engine, you can still hear it doing it, and I guess that's normal because they're trying to get so much power out of them little engines to make them be so competitive with all the other cars, and they're trying to follow the suit with the the import cars that have been doing that for a while, that are ahead of their time. That's my review, guys. If you have any questions, drop me a message on here. I wouldn't mind talking to you. I appreciate it. Thank you.